Today in our /malicious compliance. Karen and her mail problems. This story was originally made for Telesport, but due to their rules, it wasn't allowed to be posted there. It's kind of a mix between revenge and a tech support call. Color at bottom. A bit of background. I own a web hosting and company which I've set up 2 years ago with some friends with similar interest. We have a few serious clients, but things have been sailing smoothly and quietly for some time. We're not a big company, and we only spend a few hours a week doing actual work for it. So we have phone support, even though nobody is almost ever physically at a desk when we get a call. We only get calls maybe twice a week. We pick up, walk to a peak, or grab a laptop in the meantime. Sometimes it takes a minute after picking up the phone before we can actually help. Most of our clients know this and have no problem with it at all. We usually provide quick solutions, and most of the time we do support for free. The actors. Me, obviously. Karen, angry lady, client company's administrative person. She was just hired 2 weeks ago. Boss, client boss that I've had regular contact with. The story. Me insert standard corporate greeting. Karen. Hi, with Karen from company. I have issues sending email. Me, I'm sorry to hear that. If you give me a second, I'll walk to my desk so I can look into it. Now, it's important to note that we know most contacts from the bigger clients are on a first-name basis with most. Although we are not a big company, we provide services tailored to our clients' specific needs. As such, we have regular conversations over email discussing their services. This was the first time I spoke with Karen since she got hired recently. Karen, why aren't you at your desk already? This is urgent and I need this sorted ASAP. We're not paying you for your time if you're slow and unhelpful. Me screams internally already. Me, I'm sorry, Karen. Just now arriving at my desk. I see you've been recently added to the mall system. Is this the first time you've tried sending an email from your Karen interrupts me. No, I've sent many emails, probably more than you. I know how to send an email. Okay. Me, possibly sounding a bit annoyed. I was going to ask, is this the first time you tried to send an email from your corporate email account? Karen. Yes, it is. Why? Me, could you tell me what email client you're using? Karen. I'm using my company's webmail client. Me, all right, that's good. Did you get any error message that you can tell me? Karen. Yes, I don't know what it is and am not at my desk right now. Give me a minute to look it up. Like why she wouldn't stay at her desk after giving me shit for it earlier. Karen. Okay, so the error message says her interpretation of the error without saying the actual error. The part where I jumped the gun and should have paid more attention. It sounds like your inbox is full. Your company has a 50 shared mailbox limit. I can up the limit to 60 for the rest of the month so you can continue to use the email system while you archive some old mails by printing physical copies or move them to your company's cloud storage. Karen. I don't want to archive my email. Me, alternatively, boss could order extra storage for a mail. It isn't that big of a change in cost. It should be well within budget. Karen. I would rather archive my email then. This is where finally my bell starts to ring and I decide to check on the usage report and sure enough disk usage spiked over the last 2 weeks or so for her mailbox only, so I decided to ask some questions to get better insights into what is really going on. Me. Have you been getting any spam mails recently? Karen. Yes, a lot of these non-deliverable have been popping up in my mailbox since I got hired. I was meaning to call for that too, but I've just been so busy that I just delete them. I delete about 250 of them every morning. Note: our system caps the sender's limit for email accounts to 250 a day to prevent our system from being used by spammers. You may see where this is going. Oh, that's not good. And this has been going on since you were hired. Karen: yes, it's really annoying. Please do something about it. I will look into it now. Please stay on the line while I put you on hold. I dig up the sync log for her user account, and sure enough, every day for the past 2 weeks or so at 250 emails are sent. Like clockwork, most of the sent emails return as non-deliverable mail to spam flags. Now, this is a mailbox that they use for their administration, meaning they get their invoices and appointments in there. She recently gained access rights to the mailbox, which is when things started to go wrong. Hi Karen, are you still on the line? Karen's phone plays Hold Moses. In the meantime, I start investing further. I change her password and gather everything I can find from our system regarding Karen administration mailbox and normal user mailbox. 20 minutes pass without the holding music taking a break. It's really annoying, so I hang up and call back. Boss picks up. This is where things start to go to shit. For Karen, boss, insert client's corporate greeting. My corporate greeting. I was just at the phone with Karen. I think her mailboxes might have been compromised for the past 2 weeks. Boss: oh, that's interesting. I'm with Karen right now. She has been in my office for the past 20 minutes telling me how you were rude to her and that you refused to help her and that we should find a different company for our needs. I'm sorry for any inconveniences that I may have caused. However, a hacked administration mailbox is a very pressing matter. I have spent the past half hour digging through logs and have come to the conclusion that almost directly since Karen was hired, spam started to be sent from the inbox. I think she might have used a weak password. Boss: all right, hold on. Boss returns from a 5-minute hold. Okay, so I have asked Karen about this and she used generic dog name as her password. What does need to be done to take care of this issue? We do enforce a default password policy for all accounts on our systems. Our clients can disable this for email accounts by checking a box on the email account. Since Karen is their company's administrator, she was also tasked with creating and deleting email accounts for their colleagues. She edited her own email account to allow for insecure passwords. Her dog's name obviously didn't match the requirements, and she thought it was unfair for another company to dictate what password she could use for her corporate email account. Well, I have spent the past half hour looking for information regarding this breach. It is evident that spam has been sent from corporate domain. I cannot find any evidence that the hackers accessed mail in the mailboxes. However, I cannot conclude that they didn't either. Boss: so you re-saying they may have our entire administrative archive due to Karen's poor judgment calls for passwords. That is basically what it boils down to. Unfortunately, there is no way to know this for sure. We don't log access to specific mails or folders, only authentication attempts, sent mail and received mail. I have no way of knowing if they downloaded or looked at any of your mail. I would advise you to change all passwords of every account with every site and system you use, just to be sure this doesn't result in any further breaches. Boss: that will take ages. I'll task Karen and some others to start doing this directly. Me, well, we use a corporate password manager. This might be a nice solution for your company as well as it would allow for you and your colleagues to store passwords securely and give extensive permissions to see which passwords. It'll also allow you to easily keep track of all accounts that your company has, and since you don't have to memorize the passwords, you can use different and very secure passwords for everything without any issues. Boss, yes, please. Will you put an order in for me? I need this for all my employees. Me, will do. Anything else I can help you with? Boss, yes, I need some accounts terminated, but I'll send them to you in a bit. Need to wrap things up here first. About 30 minutes later, I received a termination request for all of Karen's accounts. She apparently heard what Boss said about her having to change all the company passwords, and she refused. She was fired on the spot. Colder, angry lady decides password policies are not important and use extremely weak password on corporate accounts. A mailbox got hacked and possibly all of their mail archives was compromised. Tried to blame it on my company and got fired for her recklessness and lies. Edit. Switched from acronyms to names. Edit 2. Whoa, thanks so much for the platinum. Edit 3. Thanks so much for the gold and colas. Update. I just now received a call on my personal cell from the boss. I believe I once gave it to him for a on-site job at his house back when I was just getting started. He thanked me for my directness and not actually trying to fight the claims of Karen. Phone, as outgoing phone calls are recorded from my client's side, the recording was able to be used as evidence in support of her termination, so she has no chance of trying to fight it and couldn't argue outside pressure caused her to get fired, as that is illegal in my country. I told him that I was happy to take care of all their business needs and hung up, feeling satisfied with my work for today. Update 2. So all this was posted yesterday on another sub. The events of the story happened yesterday. Today I spoke with some of the other office people from my client company regarding the aftermath of their hacked mailbox. The boss of the company asked me to send an email to his entire company to explain the situation and what happened. Apparently I explained it so clearly to him he wanted me to address his staff in the same manner. I wrote up an email explaining in layman's terms what happened and that it was totally preventable, and include tips for good passwords. I also told them that a password manager is being rolled out and that usage of this is mandatory, that all questions about the password manager should go to us directly as we are responsible for supporting the rollout, even though it is not our product. In response to this email, me and my colleagues got several calls about what happened. They had a lot of work from home and on the road employees, so there is a lot of office gossip that is delayed. Most of them specifically asked what happened to Karen, as she sent a company-wide email 2 weeks earlier introducing herself and telling everyone about responsibilities and duties. I'm important. I'm basically your new boss. Do as I say or get fired. I didn't go into too much detail, but I told them all how Karen acted, and I might have accidentally mentioned something about a Reddit post for the full story to a friend who works for the company. Oopsie. This next one is entitled Dissolve My Casual Shifts. No problem, I'll just be the backup. I worked at a cafe with a team of 5 casuals and a manager. I would get rostered on for weekend shifts mostly, but sometimes people would swap shifts or give them to other people if they wanted a day off. It pretty good job for the most part, and I was good friends with everyone, so it was easy to move shifts around if you wanted to. The manager liked this arrangement, since he didn't really need to manage us and let us sort out ourselves. Very passive and rather weak as a manager, but ultimately a good thing for us to have such a chill boss. Sometimes we had to be on call for peak season in case someone called in sick. It was summer and really busy. I had a day off and was not on call. My name wasn't even on the roster that week. In fact, another team member was on call, but they couldn't reach them on the phone. So I got a panicked call from my manager anyway and was asked to come in. I said I would if I could, but I was too far away from the shop to make it work. I'd have to go home first to change since I was at a friend's place, having a few drinks and chilling in the backyard. At the time, it would have taken me about 2 hours to get there, and that was me rushing. So the manager decided to chew me out, saying come in anyway. And I asked to be paid double time for the fact that I was not on call and would essentially be doing a massive favor for the business on my day off. I got paid very little and knew I had the leverage. Wasn't going to be bullied into coming in for nothing. He hung up on me in a huff and then texted me to say I would have my shifts reduced for not representing good team values. The funny thing was, if I had have gotten a call from one of the crew, not the manager, I would be said yes because I actually have a shit about them. It was at this point that I realized our manager really didn't care about us and was just trying to skate along off the back of our hard work. The manager decided to punish me by taking shifts off me and giving them to other staff. He couldn't legally fire me, and I had been a good worker on my time there, having lots of respect for my crew. He couldn't look me in the eye after that incident and chose to ignore me. A few days later, my shifts were reduced, and the following week, and then the next week, then I only had one shift a week. Then, the following week, I had none. I knew he was just reassigning shifts to other people as a way of punishing me. Our team of 5 had been doing the roster ourselves since I started, and it was normal for us to call each other a day before a shift, and just the other person if they wanted it. We'd just work it out and make it easy on each other if we wanted a day off or something. I couldn't just go adding my name to the roster without replacing someone else's shifts, and the manager has the final say, so I couldn't swap a shift with someone without him noticing, in which case he'd just assign it to someone else and text me to say he'd changed the roster and I didn't need to come on that day. It was so petty and just really passive-aggressive. Anyway, I started worrying about money because my shifts had all but vanished and didn't have any other job prospects. I was young and a bit desperate at the time, wanted the work. So I called up my crew one by one and told them the situation and that I'd like to cover people's shifts to increase my work hours. The only way to do this without the manager noticing was to cover someone on the day. So my name wasn't even on the roster until after my shift had finished. When I signed out, I just cross out the person's name and put my name and hours next to it with my signature. So I just went back to my normal routine and built back my normal hours. The manager would see me arrive early for my shift and question why I was there, and I just said I was just trying to represent good team values like he had asked me. The malicious compliance here is that I used the text message I had gotten from manager essentially telling me I wasn't a good employee to keep myself on the job for another 4 months. I eventually left on my own and got a better job. This next one is entitled 2 compliance tales of the malicious variety. I have 2 quick tales for you. Short, because they read both second-hand, and I don't know all the details or much of the fallout. 1. My brother was an apprentice at an engineering firm. New apprentices often have pranks pulled on them. For example, requests to go and find some non-existent things like elbow grease and headlight fluid. Anyway, one of the apprentices younger than my brother was told by another apprentice to go to a hardware store for a long wait, hoping to get rid of him for a while. So off the apprentice goes with a tape measure, and several hours later returns with a heavy object and a receipt for the longest wait he could find. I haven't heard of any other pranks being pulled on him after that. 2. This is a much older one from my grandfather, who has been retired for over a decade now. My grandfather worked for a while in the tool shop at a major international aerospace engineering firm. He has many tales from there, but I haven't heard any other of the malicious compliance variety. Anyway, one of the foremen there was a bit of an arse and was unpopular with many of the workers under him. He would also disappear for several hours every day, so whenever he did, my grandfather's colleagues would take the chair from the foreman's office and shave about a centimeter from the legs each day. When the foreman eventually realized his chair was getting shorter and shorter, he mandated that new legs be welded onto his chair. So they did. The next time the foreman went into his office, he discovered his chair was now nearly 2 meters tall because he never specified how long the legs should have been. He was pissed, but couldn't do anything about it. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the bell, and whatever else our YouTube overlords require nowadays.